Hello, fabulous friends, fans, and superstars. Welcome to Synchronicity Web TV. I am your host, Nadiya Shah, and this is your moment of synchronicity. Well, I'm so excited to celebrate with you today, my friend, Nathalia Calmon. You've seen Nathalia on my channel before. I know you have, with videos and Synchronicity University, and it is now that Nathalia is back at Synchronicity University. As part of the November 2024 speaker series, we've got this haunting, magical theme, and her work is going to fit right in there. You've got a little time left from the time that this publishes to choose your tuition rate, as low as just $5 a class, to learn from Nathalia and these other incredible speakers. My dear friend, so glad to connect with her again. Nathalia, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. I'm learning from you since ever. So this is really a humble and at the same time really grateful moment for me, and so much full of love. And I hope we can spread that today a little bit.
Yes, let's spread the love. Why not? And for me too, of course, because you were such a lovely part of my experience. When I first arrived in Brazil, the first time, you were like right there ready to greet me. And it was just so synchronistic. And you're such an amazing astrologer. I loved hanging out and talking astrology with you. So it's so nice that, now we get to do it. I'm not in Brazil, but we get to keep talking astrology. I love that.
Thank God.
Yeah, right?
I am here today to talk about the transit, which is not so easy. Is like we astrologers like to call a challenging one. Probably.
Oh, yes.
But I think at the same time is full of potential and full of growth, although not a smooth one, because Pluto is not smooth, Aquarius is not smooth. So, and the French Revolution was not smooth, which was last time this transit happened. So, but I really think has an amazing transformation potential, and a transformation which can really reach lots and lots of people, like humanity. It's about power of the individual, and at the same time how we are going to kill in the necessary way an idea of individual, but also of the future, so we can reborn. And it's obviously not an easy thing, and we are seeing it was not an easy year and not an easy transit. We can not sugarcoat it. I think it's there already that it's not easy, but at the same time I think it's full of transformation, and we can come out of it so much stronger and knowing ourselves so much better. I do believe that.
Yeah, that's really the point, right? With all these difficult transits, you come out, we hope, better. I think that's the point of going through really hard times and hard transits. Nathalia, I mean, Pluto transits can be so hard. I know a little something about that. Pluto just stepped into my sun sign earlier this year. And yeah, it just felt like this whole lesson in powerlessness. And it was so hard. I don't want it to be hard. Nobody wants life to be hard. So what do you do? How do you advise people when you see that they've got that challenging aspect that's about to happen? Like, for example, Pluto, getting closer and closer to the sun. Pluto getting closer and closer to my sun. What do I do? Help me, guide me, tell me.
You are my guy. I watch your videos. That's what I do. I'm sorry I interrupted you. I think one thing you do is brilliant, which is like focusing on the bright part of any transit, because any transit has its bright part, right? If we really like look for it. So I think the transformation of Pluto in Aquarius is, and has to do a lot of the class I'm going to give. It's about removing the self. And that's why it feels like we are losing power, because it's losing the self. It's like you have to remove yourself from the picture somehow, because this is Aquarius team, right? We are Aquarian, so we are always like thinking about the collective. And at some point, it's like the ideal of being an Aquarian, the ideal of, like, we are idealistic people. Like we are really like attached to our truth. And when this is shaken, it's like, where am I? Who am I? Where's my power? Because, and you have to let it go, like frozen. You have to like like, yeah, okay, what's going to be born from this experience of losing the sense of future I had, because Aquarius is future, the sense of friends and social life maybe I had, the sense of like when I am going to be an old lady, how it's going to be. Like, it's everything. It's like, oh, maybe life it's not going to be as I thought it was going to be. And it's like, I feel like an eclipse, like we cannot see the horizon, but it's going to show up. It's going to. But it's like, we that are Aquarian, I think Moon in Aquarius and especially and Sun in Aquarius are feeling this, like, where is the silver lining? Because it's like suddenly we cannot see, and we always see, because that's the Aquarian gift. We always see. We can see through logic, through the magic of astrology, through the magic of the runes, like in the Yggdrasil of Odin. We can see, like Apollo. You like also to read Aquarius through Apollo, right? And which is the same thing, the oracles. And it's like, when you lose that ability, it's like, what are they doing? Where's my sun? How am I going to shine? And at the same time, I think that removing the self is, which is the myth of the Yggdrasil of Odin, is the beautiful thing, is like sacrificing yourself to yourself. You have to remove yourself to yourself and give yourself to yourself, and it's going to be a new self. But it's a Plutonic transit. It's not like comfortable to become a butterfly.
Yeah, that's true. If anybody's ever seen a butterfly and how it becomes a butterfly, remember years ago, well, it was during the pandemic, everything just started opening. I was in Mexico and I went to a butterfly sanctuary because I really felt like, I was going through a transformation. And at the butterfly sanctuary, I remember watching like in real time, you could see, how that caterpillar is making its cocoon, how, like, here you see one that's halfway mated, here you see one 3/4 way mated. And it's not frozen. It's like live, real live, tons and tons of caterpillars and butterflies everywhere inside of the sanctuary in Puerto Vallarta. And it was really powerful to consider. Yeah, like they break out of that cocoon and it takes some time. But then the thing is, their wings are wet. They can't fly right away. It's not like they break out and then all of a sudden they're flying all over the place and they have a girlfriend and everything. No, that's not what happens. It's like, they start breaking a little bit and then they stop for a minute. And then they're like, okay, taking some time. And then again, they'll like stretch a little bit and they're trying and they're trying. And then eventually, yeah, there's enough of an opening for them to come out, but their wings are wet. And then maybe finally they'll crawl out. They'll kind of sit on top, but they're waiting for their wings to dry to be able to fly. And then they're flying for the first time. So it's like really slow going at first. You don't think about that whole thing being part of, transforming and becoming something more, really is what it is. And so I do want to be really clear. Pluto transits, yeah, they can be tough, but they're about helping you to live more fully, more authentically in this life. They're about becoming something more in this life, so that you can make the most of this lifetime that much more going forward from here, not only during the transit, but certainly after the transit as well. And yeah, I don't know. I glimpsed it a little bit. I had to go into the cocoon, right? Because, I had to be on bed rest this summer. And it was so brutal. And it was, right there with Pluto in the midst of it. I just felt like, I just started touching Pluto and it was like, oh my gosh. And it was tough. But I remember the fear. There was a lot of fear as well. And then here I am taking a breather. And I'm like, okay, universe, I want it to be better next time, or at least I want to, I don't know, I would like it to be not as tough. I would like it to not knock me out. You know what I mean? Because that's how it felt. What do you think?
I think, and I was talking about it the other day, the first time it was like surviving. The first time it hit Aquarius, I don't know if you remember, I said it's weird because I feel like I never felt so afraid in my life. It was a fear thing, but I never felt so powerful because I was fully surviving to something that I didn't think I was capable of. And I was totally terrified. And then I survived. And this time it was awful. But it was really powerless. It was like, what's happening? And at the same time, it was the glimpse of the future. But the thing you said about the caterpillar and the butterfly, but it's not that time yet. And it's like, it's not still, you need to get back and need to end a little bit of the work you began there in 2023. And I feel like we are doing that. And I truly believe that when we are going to that, the problem is it did 3 times, which is totally insane because we had to learn and go through the fear all over again, or trauma, or crisis, or all the things that are related to Pluto. So the one time was fear, the other time was a crisis of emotions and trauma, and now I don't know what's going to be, but I think that we are going to be more have more instruments to deal with we already survived it, right? We went through it and we came out of it. So it's like now there is some self-confidence, I feel at least, that we are going to make it. It may be truly uncomfortable, maybe, but we are going to make it. It's like I have been saying that, it's like feeling that the fear already always goes away. Also, like the trauma doesn't need to get with you all the time. You can let things go, feel them and let them go, and not being paralyzed by them, because Pluto can be a paralyzing planet. And I am learning, I feel like it's learning to let go of the fear, feeling it and letting go, and at the same time remembering that I already survived it once, twice, so now I'm going to survive again. Maybe it's going to be uncomfortable, but the knowledge that we did it and we came through it, that's what makes me less terrified, which I would be. And I'm really not so much, because it's like we really went through a lot, and I think we learned a lot, because it's truly transformation when it's Pluto. So it's like a lot of things. So it's like, oh yeah, I was so afraid of this campable thing, right? Of the thing you must more to face is inside the cave. You are more afraid of enter, and we went there. We didn't want to go there. but we are thrown inside this cave and we survived. So, okay, I survived. So from now on, it's still painful. It's going to be painful because it's really raw. It's really recent. But I think we made it. And I think we should be proud. Aquarians, Aquarius, especially like Sun and Moon, should be proud of going through this panic crisis transit and surviving and screaming and crying and everything, but coming out and knowing that you're going to come out again, and you faced something you didn't think maybe you were capable of. And that's so empowering. That's the thing of the power of Pluto. And that I don't know, I am maybe being truly the wishful thinker here. But I truly feel like it. It's like when you touch the ground you were so afraid to touch and you are still here. Like, man, be proud of yourself, you know? Like, and I feel like we Aquarian, because there are Aquarians in my life of Sun and Moon that are not so proud as we should be, because it was terrifying. And we are here. You know? So, congratulations for us.
Yes. Here we are, but we're not quite on the other side just yet. I mean, we just got a brush. We got a little bit of a brush. I'm thinking about how, I mean, the Pluto still has to get to my sun. That's not even going to be there until 2026. Next year starts to get closer, but then 2026 gets I believe that's the first conjunction, exact conjunction. But at least, you know, Uranus will be trine. But I do think that for Aquarians out there, we're probably feeling it already, right? What degree is your sun, your Aquarian sun?
Mine is 21, but
yeah, and you're feeling it already. We only had Pluto get to 1 degree. But
I have a Cap Moon in the end of Capricorn.
Yeah.
So I think it's impossible not to feel this place trembling, because it's from one place to the other place, and so it's migrating. And I think, like, in some, like 1 year, maybe it's going to be a little bit smoother until, and I'll have some rest, because I had the conjunction to my moon in Capricorn, so I need a little bit rest. It's good. It's only on 21 degrees. It's like at that, like 10, 15 years, okay. And then I think about it.
I understand that, because I have Mercury at the end of Capricorn. I have Venus at the beginning of Capricorn. I have, you know, I know I've been through many a Pluto conjunction, so I know I'm going to be okay. But even though you see the symbol coming, even though you know, you're like, oh, okay, I know what this is. I know what it's going to be, whatever. It still can feel like, oh, darn it. You know, like, oh, this sucks is what it can feel like, right? And I know, like, the posture to take, that's the good posture to take, which is surrender. That's a big part of what Pluto teaches us, right? Like, if you're going to the underworld, if you're moving through the underworld, you got to keep moving. If you're moving through the underworld, you just got to accept that, you know, you're on the boat. It's taking you through the river Styx. It's going to take you where it needs to. If you're wanting to get to the other side and get the prize of whatever the prize might be for you, you got to just keep going. And there's that. But then there's also, you know, when I think about it, I reflect back on how different I was before those conjunctions versus after, right? And whom I became after. It was real. Pluto didn't get rid of anything that didn't need to be gotten rid of, right? That wasn't superficial or judged as superficial in some way. But all of that, you know, I know all this and I've felt it and I've experienced it. And so I hold on to that. And yet I want to acknowledge that I am right there with any other Aquarian like me, where all of that can be true. And it can also be true that it kind of sucks, or it really sucks. Yeah. It really is something. Yeah.
But I think there is a payoff that people don't talk so much about Pluto because it's not Saturn, okay? But it gives you a payoff. When you do the transformation and you feel that you transformed yourself, because transforming ourselves is so brave. It's so brave to transform yourself. It requires so much bravery to do so. And you come out of it better than you entered, necessarily, I think, because you needed to touch places you wouldn't touch if you could not, you would avoid if you could not, but maybe they needed to be touched so you could heal the real things that are fundamental, so you can be truly like the wound, which was the worst wound possible, it's now less menacing. You are less afraid of it. It's less something that is in your unconscious and you are trying to avoid somehow because you face it. And it was terrifying. But now you are going forward and you are going like better and more powerful in yourself, in the sense that I got it. I got it. I got my own hell, my own abyss. I look to it and I am here. So that's something to be proud of. And this is a beautiful transformation. And you have to be brave enough to do it, because I don't know if you decide not to do it, what would happen? Because I felt like I didn't have a choice. I felt like I didn't have a choice. So I embraced it, not exactly surrendering, but surrendering, like, okay, I'm surrendering. I'm surrendering. But not, okay, I surrender. No, I was not able, but okay, I'm surrendering. But it's like, I feel stronger already. Not enough to face the next one, but at the same time, I know much more than I was in the first one, the first time it enters Aquarius. So it's like I am already stronger because it's power. It's our power. Because Pluto is our power. It's a collective power. So it's transiting our sign is so we can take it and make it ours, and make it our power of life. It can be cheesy. I know I'm being cheesy as hell today, but it's our power of life. Like, touch it. Touch it. Don't be afraid of touching your power of life. And it can be terrifying, but you are going to thank yourself in the end because you were brave enough to do so. Because if you don't, I don't know, I wouldn't recommend to go to this transit, to a transit like that, without transforming yourself, because what's going to be, it's authentic, like you said. It's the truth. Are you going to avoid the truth to the rest of your life?
Yeah, you can't with Pluto, right? You can't get away from it. Even if you want to, it doesn't matter with Pluto, really, what you want. It's like, here it is. Here's the truth. Here's what you feel. Here's what must change. And I think we make it harder on ourselves if we try to hold on too tightly to anything. Yeah. And that's not to say that I love what you just said, because it is about getting to a better place is really what it's about, right? And sometimes it's on the other side. I'm hopeful that at least once we move forward, and especially once we get into next year, we start getting these, this dance of a trine, right? Between Uranus and Pluto and the sextile of Neptune and Saturn. So at least the next couple of years when these aspects are really hitting, right, called the grand sextile aspects, I think it'll be better, but that doesn't mean it won't be hard, right? But it can be a lot better. It can be that at least we get to that place of, oh, wow, this is the opportunity. Wow, this is what's exciting. This is the potential. This is the hope. This is at least we can get to that place much more quickly than we might otherwise, because we have that very supportive energy of the Uranus trine, in particular, the modern ruler of Aquarius. Yeah.
And I think that there is this, we need to see what's new, because we killed the future. We killed ideas. We killed projects. So we can build again, and we can like project again. And as Aquarians, the Aquarian people out there are like needing to be able to see the future. And I think the horizon is going to clear as much Pluto really goes forward. And then we are going to, because we made the work, and that's it. It's not only Saturn that pays off, because Pluto has a thing. You transformed yourself. It's not something that it's like trivial. You transformed yourself. You are going to feel it. You are going to receive the beauty of being able to have courage to do so. And you're going to begin to see the future, because you are another person, and you're going to look at things, and they're going to become. And then Uranus, when Uranus comes, I think it's the future, like it's the novelty, right? And we are needing novelty, right? In the sense that really like because just putting things out and like taking out our wounds and the thing that we need to detach from ourselves, but we need to see the new, what's new, what is exciting, and finally like this new phase of my life. And I think 2025 has this potential. I truly think, maybe I'm being deluded, but I do believe 2025 has the potential to give us this smell of another time, of the new that we are craving for so much, because it was like the caterpillar that the wing, because it's retrograde and goes forward, and is retrograde and goes forward, and is retrograde and go forward, and it's this feeling. It's exactly the feeling of being with, I have no wings, but they are wet and I cannot go forward. And I really feel like that right now. It's like I transformed things, but I am still like not flying at all. But I do think that we are going to see new horizons as much as it goes forward for real right now. And not only the glimpses we had, but we are really going to be able to see. And Uranus is so much of a blessing at this moment, because it's really like you're going to suddenly see something. And suddenly see something when you are for a long time in the dark, it's magical.
Wow. I love that.
Magical. It's truly magical. So I think we have a potential for a beautiful, like a year that it's exciting, and not the anxiety of being afraid, but the anxiety of living something that you never lived before. And
I love that. And there's something very refreshing about Uranus trines. And even though, Pluto is there, I love how you put it, that, there's this sense of change and this sense of uncertainty in that, but there's also something very exciting about it. There's something refreshing about it. There's something that, wow, it's like, when you plunge into cold water, it can be really uncomfortable, but then you come out and you just feel alive. And you're like, wow, oh my God, like that, you feel better. Just physically, your inflammation goes down, like all kinds of good things happen. I think that's exactly it. You put it so beautifully.
No, and I love the water is to be iced, because Aquarius is related to everything that is cold, right?
Yeah.
So it's really like it's to be like a woo.
Yes. And I mean, you're saying everything cold because Aquarius is the sign that symbolically took place in the middle of winter in the northern hemisphere. And so, it's fixed air, but it's like, in the dead of winter is when Aquarius happens, right? Like by the time we get to Pisces, winter is starting to wrap up. And then of course we get to Aries and we get spring. But yeah, there's this notion of coldness, but that can be part of its brilliance. That's why it's so brilliant, because in those cold nights is when you realize what you're really thinking and new ideas come forward and what you have to say. And you're really able to develop your ideas that much more when you're spending more time indoors at your tables. So yeah, I guess symbolically, that's what more and more of us are going to be doing. And especially the Aquarians, it's like, well, we just got through the Capricorns having this, right? Because the Capricorns are just finishing off Pluto in Capricorn and Uranus in an earth sign as well, making those trines. And so, yeah, Capricorns have felt this energy where at once it might have felt painful and transitory, but then also that refreshing energy came in that brought big breakthrough moments, like, you know, the kinds that stand out in the trajectory of your life. And now it's Aquarians' turn to have that experience.
But I think there is something exciting in the collective sense of Aquarius, more than, because it's more complicated when it's a Capricorn to the collective, I think. Because you are like structures are going down, and you are deluded, and then you are completely devastated because you were deluded. And when it goes to Aquarius, it's like we have some people are going to think about new ways of doing things, I think. I truly do believe that it's going to be like we need to do, maybe it's not going to be pretty because, you know, it's Pluto, but at the same time, it's the power to the individual recognizing its own power. Like, and this is really amazing when you think about, and the future, new future, because we are so, it has a shadow thing, which is like you can watch to this transit with the apocalyptic sense, but at the same time, it's the beginning. If we think like with Charnas and everything, like it's the beginning of the modernity. It's the beginning of the new. It's the beginning of the time in our history in which we left antiquity, in which we were looking to the past and like just doing the same and trying to do as they did before, trying to recover something that came before. And modernity is about the future, and like we want a new future. And like you see the art that becomes there. And now I'm saying that everybody's going to have a new music, new theater, new everything, because it's transforming the idea of revolution, the idea of utopia. So it's maybe like, because Aquarius is already not hair like Age of Aquarius, is much more Blade Runner, right? And Pluto is Pluto. So maybe it's going to be like in a more aggressive sense, even art, like the
dystopian. Yeah.
I don't know if necessarily dystopian, but the need to fight to get another future. We are going to
fight the power. That's what it is. It's fight the power. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
and our power to the people. Our power to the people.
You know, I was saying way back in March of 2020, I was saying, wait until Saturn conjuncts Mars at 0 degrees of Aquarius, because that is going to be our preview of what Pluto in Aquarius is likely to be like. And what happened? Well, one was the world shut down, yes, but that gave way to big fight the power movements, right? We really saw this sense of people wanting equality and social justice, like more than ever before, people were demanding this. And fighting for a different future, a future of greater opportunity and greater equality for more people is what was at the forefront of wanting transformation that kicked off with that very beginning stage of Saturn, and especially Saturn and Mars together in Aquarius. And now here we are. Yeah, you're so right. That's exactly what's happening as part of the mystery, and in different ways. That might be what we're jumping into so much more. And the trine of Uranus in particular, yeah, that could be greater equality for more people than ever before. That's my hope. That really is my hope.
And communication, I think that in a personal level, Gemini, it's better than in the collective, because Gemini in the collective can be gossip, fake news, can become, I don't know what's going to be Uranus and Gemini, but at the same time, in the personal, it's going to be fun. I think the trine to an Aquarian, a trine of Uranus in Gemini, I do believe we are going to have fun, because Gemini people, they have a bad rap. That's unfair. They are so much fun. They are so much fun. We have so much fun, Gemini people. So I think we are going to be able to, like, it's light. It's light because Aquarius is a fixed, and is a hard air. It's not an air that it's not. And Gemini is light. It's Uranus, but it's Gemini. So I think there's going to be a lightness in the personal level. I truly think to Aquarians is going to be a blessing. We are going to feel it more like something we are needing to feel.
Yeah.
The urge to communicate and to, hello, yay, I'm going to be a happy Aquarian again. Yes.
Yeah, well, let's see. I hope so. I'm ready to be a happy Aquarian again, I'll tell you, Nathalia. And then, so yeah, once again, everybody, you see how brilliant Nathalia is. And Nathalia is coming back to Synchronicity University. She's going to talk about like specific myths of Odin and so much more to help you to understand Pluto and Aquarius. And you've got a limited time left to choose your tuition rate to learn from Nathalia and these other incredible speakers as part of the November 2024 speaker series. And we've got this magical, spooky theme going on just in time for Scorpio season. And what could be more Scorpion than understanding a Pluto transit, right? What could be more Scorpion than that?
I love that. I'm so grateful to come back here to be with you and to talk astrology with you. It's always a blessing, and I learn so much, and I come out happier. It's truly like blessed. I'm come out like, oh, it's going to be better. It's going to be better than I thought it was going to be when I began this conversation. And that's so much. That's so much.
See the bright side, right? It helps us remember that there are ways to look at things that can help us to remember to keep what I like to call love and wisdom at the forefront. And yeah, it's just fun to talk astrology. And it's, oh yes, the universe is wise and loving. You wore the pendant. I love you for that. I love you for that so much. The universe is wise and loving. Let's not forget it. Let's own it. Let's hold it.
Yeah. And one thing you told me, and never, it stuck to me forever, which is allow happiness. I don't know if you remember to tell me that at one moment, and I was like really low, and I never forgot you saying allow happiness. And it changed my perspective of making space for the happiness when we feel it. So this is a wisdom that I gained from you, my love.
And that's a wisdom I needed to be reminded of. I love you too. Thank you so much again, Nathalia. And thank you everybody out there for watching. Until we connect again, take care. Bye.